Hello and welcome back to the Only Fools Love Horses YouTube channel, and it is Epsom Derby week. It's the week we all look forward to. 2 days at the Surrey based track. We can't wait to get stuck into all of the action going on. All the races are priced up as well from an anti-post perspective. So when we record this on a Tuesday evening for a Wednesday release, we've got some nice prices to look at. And gentlemen, we can't wait for the Derby. I get excited for the Derby every year, not just for the Derby, but for the Dash, my favourite race of the year. And Harry, are you looking forward to the Dash as much as I am?
I am. I'm not probably as much as you are. It's a good race. It's a good race before it as well for the 2-year-olds. But I know obviously your love affair with that race. The Derby is at 1:30, obviously on Saturday, which is perfect timing for me as I am away in London watching the Mighty Reds beat City on their journey to win. Well, they want to win 3, but they're not going to win 3. So it should be a good weekend. I'm looking forward to it. Friday it's always good. I've got the day off work as well, which is good on Friday, so we can watch the Oaks in peace. And our group nap, as I want to say, we can finally get in. So yeah, all good.
No, it should be a really good crack. Fingers crossed I'll have my university assignment in by Friday so I can enjoy the Oaks, because at the moment I haven't started it yet and it's due on Friday. So you might not be seeing much of me on Twitter or any social media. Lee, yourself, Derby, Oaks, Dash, Coronation Cup. It's a great weekend for racing. What more can we ask for?
I absolutely love this weekend's racing coming up. I like them unconventional tracks, the likes of a Sandown and a Chester, and I love Epsom. You've got to be a tough horse to win at Epsom, and it tests the mettle of a horse, I would have said, and I love it. So yeah, good weekend's racing coming up.
I actually walked the track last year. I said that I was going to go into the middle of the track, and then I ended up not going to it. And then I woke up at 11 and someone offered me a free ticket, and I was like, oh yeah, Jesus, let's go. So I put my suit on. I just got there in time for Frankie won on Meg Allen, I think, maybe. Or Frankie, I think Frankie won on a horse or something like that. And I just got in for there. And then afterwards I went down to the back, I parked my car and I walked the track. Sun walk. If anyone wants to do it, it's you have to do it. It's incredible, honestly. Lovely stuff. Before we get into Epsom, we're going to look at the week just gone by. Any eye catchers, as we always do in the first 5 minutes of the show. Your biggest eye catchers from the week gone by. Harry, you've told me that you've got one, so I'll fire over to you.
Mine's a little bit of a weird one now. It's actually a 0-85 round the Rudy, and it was on Saturday as well. Now, call me mad, but I absolutely flawless for David Loughnane, and Laura Pearson was second to Radio Goo. Now, Radio Goo for David Evans has been a revelation. I think it was turned out within the week, and it's now racked up a 3-timer. I think absolutely flawless. There's more to come off a mark of 78. I'm not too sure. Yes, she's gone up a pound off 79. I think she'll still be well in there. So one to take her out from me is absolutely flawless for a good owner in David Lowe. And I think she's going to be going in again soon.
Good stuff. Very niche there. Lee, yourself, eye catcher for you?
Mine was at the Curragh on Sunday. It was the fillies race, the Group 2, and Jumbly. We did like that one, Ash, at the weekend. I did back the horse, so I was always drawn to her, but she finished behind Just Beautiful. I feel like the winner got the run of the race, and look, Ryan had a 4-timer, but he was trapped in behind a few horses that day, and in that race. So I just think the horse will improve. It was off for 300 days, changed stables to Joseph O'Brien. The Tabors had bought her, and they paid quite a lot for her. So I just think that one can improve and come on for the run. So Jumbly, that was at the Curragh on Sunday.
Yeah, I'll echo that. I think they were maybe expecting her to come on a little bit for the run, and she's ran an absolute belter. So echo that, definitely. For me, I'm going to go 2 from the Curragh on the Sunday. Thought Pispadil ran a great race in the Tattersalls Gold Cup. I think he's just coming into himself now, properly as this group horse. Obviously, last season he was a bit of my Derby horse. Then he went and finished second to Westover in the Irish Derby. I think there's plenty more to come now that he's a 4-year-old. Can keep improving. Ulysses, that doesn't surprise me that he keeps improving. So Pisbadale, I thought, ran a great race in third. Maybe a step up in trip or something like that back to the Derby distance might be sort of suited for him in his 4-year-old season. And 2 races after that in the 1,000 guineas, the Irish 1,000 guineas. Tahira's brilliant. I thought stablemate Tarawa in 4th was very good. If Tahira had a tough run at the inside and getting boxed in next to Dower House, then this horse had a real tough one. She had a real tough route through. She was staying on really well into 4th. I think she's definitely got something about her. And it was obviously canny for Dermot Well to put her in the race. She wasn't there for a pacemaker or anything like that. They obviously rate her in the yard. So I think she's going to be a very decent filly going forwards. Interested to see where she goes. Obviously, running at the same distance as her stablemate, so she might run into her a few times. But maybe they might try and split them up, maybe over the different sides of the Irish Sea. But we'll see how that goes. We'll move on to Epsom then, gentlemen. The eye caps are out the way. We're going to start on the Friday. We're going to start with the Woodcote Stakes. Good 2-year-old race this. No price as we speak, but Ballon d'Or, bit of an eye catcher behind the 2 Ziggies at Chester. He's in the race. You've got the likes of 50 Grand Slater, who ran behind Sadner. So that's the Royal Ascot form, the potential Royal Ascot form being tested there. Plenty of ammo racing horses in here. There are plenty of entries. Well, 19, 17 can get a run. No prices. I'll go over to Lee first of all. Anything taking your fancy in the 2-year-old race, the opening race of the Derby weekend?
Look, we haven't got the prices for this one, Ash, but I would probably take 2 against the field if I was taking them now. I like Valor and Swagger. I think it stayed on well the last day at Ascot. It just got a bit outpaced and then stayed on best of the line. But the problem is that there was a Godolphin horse there for Charlie Appleby. It ran today and it completely bombed out. It finished out the screen kind of thing, and that was behind Valor and Swagger the last day at Ascot. So it's let the form down a bit, but I just think he stayed on well to the line last time out. But I will take Yorkshire Terrier. I thought he won well last time. It was only at Southwell, but Oisin Murphy's booked on the raid for the Johnsons, who have won this race before and like to target the race. It's quick out the traps. No pun intended with a little terrier there. Quick out the traps, but it really will hopefully get the lead and be tough to pass. So I will take Yorkshire Terrier and maybe Valor and Swagger as one to watch as well.
Lovely stuff. I actually had a little Yorkshire Terrier as a kid growing up.
Yeah.
So yeah, a little sentimental name value there. Harry, anything taking your eye at this early stage?
Yeah, you mentioned 50 Grand Slater. It'd be interesting if that horse turned up, because I thought I reckon
they will, but I reckon they will turn up.
Yeah, albeit he was beaten 12 lengths by Sadner. That horse is now favourite to obviously win. Yeah, to win the Coventry. So you look at that. That's a good piece of form. Valadero's in 4th that day and was comfortably beaten. That horse has had a couple of goes now, but for a horse that was first time out, he was quick out the gates. He was basically the last one off the bridle. If you actually watch the race back, he was the last one off the bridle. He Sadner just had that turn of foot, and it was just blown them all away. I think if his heart hasn't been broken by Sadner, I think he can run a nice race. He still did in second, but one I will be backing if this horse goes is Bombay Bazaar. Was 3rd on debut at Thirsk. Only beaten 4 lengths. I mentioned Valadero. The horse was 2nd that day. Has a little bit thing about not winning Valadero, but Sergeant Wilco was very good. I thought that day. But then you go back to the next day, sent off 5-1 the first time out, 11-8. The money came for this horse, and duly obliged. 4.5 lengths. He absolutely dotted up. Looked good coming into the paddock. Went out prominent all the way, and then when Jack Garrity said go, and this horse really picked up. Politico went out at Chester at the weekend. That horse was in 3rd that day. He then went on to win by 3 lengths under Franny Norton. Franny Norton around Chester, it's a little bit of a thing, that one, isn't it? So Bombay Bazaar, I think, for Richard Fahey, he's still in decent nick. And Oshino, he's a cracking jockey as well, obviously. So fingers crossed, this horse is on the up and can go in again.
Brilliant stuff. Nothing for me at this stage, but when the prices open up, I'm sure to take a look at the 2-year-old race there.
And just quickly mention that we did have Nick Bradley on, and he did mention about 50 grand Slater as a get your top hats ready was what Amy Murphy said to him, and I thought it meant Ascot, but maybe they've had this in mind for the top hats of Epsom, and like Harry says, it's a good shout. I think it'll come on for the run, and maybe this has always been the target for Nick Bradley Racing.
I mean, you look at these ones down at the bottom of the market, and well, we say bottom of the market, but bottom of the entries at the minute, and like carrying 9-2, getting £5 from the winners.
Yeah,
that it could pay a lot in the fighting stage, and if 50 grand Slater gets a good draw, I think Holly Door's a cracking booking as well. So listen, I will definitely have a few quid on it if he gets declared.
I think this has always been the plan. I got a message of someone who's involved with the horse literally a couple of days after, and the word was they're coming here. So it's not really like they're having a second choice coming here. So I'd be surprised if they don't turn up with this horse. Lovely stuff. We'll go on to the first race priced up, the Group 1 Coronation Cup, the first Group 1 of the weekend, of Derby weekend. Westover 2-1 topping the market, just a shade shorter than Emily Upjohn, making her seasonal reappearance at 5-2. Hurricane Lane been mixing sort of in and out of the winners enclosure already this season, but 10-3. Point Lonsdale 7-2 as double figure prices about the rest. It looks to be between the top 4 in the market, gentlemen. Harry, what do you fancy in the Coronation Cup?
We were talking off camera, and I couldn't really decide. And then in comes Mr. Simmons. He puts his point across, and I go, done. The hatches are down. The armbands are on. We've jumped off the ship. We're staying afloat. Westover for me, Ash. I think has a massive chance. Obviously, third in the Derby last season. You mentioned Pisbadil. I mean, Westover gave an absolute tonking to that horse last year. Obviously, was second to Equinox. I believe in the
there's the form.
And I mean, Equinox is just a wow. That horse is proper. And do you know what? This horse was, if you actually watch the race back in the Shima Classic, Equinox was out in front the whole way, kicked on when he wanted to, and that was it, bang, gone. Westover came from mid-division, had to actually come round them, and then ran on, and he ran on really, really nicely. And I think this horse definitely has the best form on show just from that. If Equinox is room to be the best horse in the world, I'm willing to go in, Ash, just because you're going in. So Ash, I hope you back up this case. Hope you back it up.
Yeah, I mean, I suppose I will be with Westover. I thought the major danger was Hurricane Lane. I think Lee's going to talk a little bit more about that. But look, the second to Equinox, it is good. Equinox obviously didn't come off the bridle, but I don't think Westover was that fancied the last day. Didn't really get back to the market that much for an Irish Derby winner, and sort of went off 15-2. I thought ran a great race, and I thought, after that, I thought any race he runs afterwards, it's going to take a good one not for me not to back it. I thought he ran a great race, and he always comes on for his seasonal reappearances. Like, if you go through his last 2 years, he beat Cash by a short head, and then beat Bullet Force by a length on his first 2 seasonal starts. Going back to Cash was last year, and Bullet Force the year after. He was beaten actually as a 2-year-old on his next start after that. That was by Zechariah, who had that nice second to the St. Ledger winner at Royal Ascot.
Elderoff.
Thank you very much. The name escaped me there. And then obviously the last year, Westover beat Cash and then went and finished third, staying on third in the Derby. Has got that Epsom form. Worry about ground. Maybe wants it a bit softer.
I was going to say that.
I think Clerk of the Course might just take a little bit of a softer approach on the Friday. They might just make it run on that slightly softer side of good, or just sort of like good racing ground. As long as it's not good to firm. If it's good to firm ground, I'd have a small worry. The last time I ran on it, he was very big voice right there. That's going in there. That's going in the bloopers. Was a very disappointing 5th or 6th behind Pile Driver. But I think if it's just good, decent racing ground, no excuse to ground, there should be no excuse for this horse. I think he's going to be quite tough to beat. Lee, you've gone for a slightly different approach in this race.
I think Hurricane Lane has got the best form in this. He won the Group 2 Jockey Club last time out. He easily won that. I think he just got bogged down the first day at Newbury, didn't run his race. Look, he was a 6-length winner of the Grand Prix de Paris. Beaten 6-length in that, but was third to Adior in the Derby. He actually lost 2 front shoes in that race. Yeah, look, Emily Upjohn, she's got form because she was second in the Oaks. Westover was staying on third in the Derby behind Desert Crown. They've got form at the track. It would have a slight reservation just with losing the shoes and whether it really truly handled the track, Hurricane Lane. But I think beating 3/4 of a length in the Arc behind Taquato Tasso is probably the strong form. Are you laughing at me pronunciation?
Yeah, if I get murdered every week for my pronunciation, Tasso, come on now.
Taquato
Tasso, come on now.
That's not too bad. Taquato Tasso. No, but look, Adior was in the race. Snowfall was well beaten. Broome, Alan Kerr, all them are strong, solid forms in that Arc. And I just think the races that Hurricane Lane's been running are stronger than the likes of Westover and Emily Upjohn, who both bombed out in a King George as well. I think Hurricane Lane's got the best form and hopefully just back to its best after the last run.
Well, he did say, Charlie Appleby did say in an interview after he won the Jockey Club, and he turned around and said, obviously, because they put the cheap pieces on for the first time last time out.
Yeah.
He did a piece of work or something in the week before, and apparently the lads at the yard just said, there's no way this horse gets beat.
It got really well backed on the day as well. And the only problem is, and we spoke about this, Harry, Charlie Appleby, he's on 9% straight rate the last 14 days. He's had 3 winners from 33, which isn't overconfident. And there's been a couple, even today as we record on the Tuesday, there's been a couple of odds-on shots beat. But the older horses who have already been there, I wouldn't look too much into it, because the ones that he's been getting beat are these first time outs and stuff like that. So look, I just think Hurricane Lane's got the best form and he can beat Westover and Emily Upjohn. I think she's probably the least of the 3 I would take, but yeah.
Ash, here's one for you. Here's one for you, just for Charlie Appleby. This time last year in May in 2022, he sent only 41 runners onto the course, and he had 11 winners. I think that works out about 27% strike rate. This time around in May, he sent out over 20 more, so over 60, and he's only had 9 winners in May.
I think it's 63, and he's got 9 so far.
So he's
just had a winner. He's just had a winner at Lingfield. In fairness to him, he's just had a winner at Lingfield.
Go on the
4 to 5. So he's had an odds-on thing win. But yeah, no, it is worrying, and it's going to be a little. Well, I might talk a little bit about it in military order. What do I like in this? Yeah, Westover made the case there. So I do worry Hurricane Lane. I thought it's devastating the last day, but I just have a small worry. Like the comment was the 2 starts ago was, he doesn't like the ground, but he's going to finish third in an Arc before that on heavy. So I don't know how much I believe the ground argument.
But he did bomb out in that the Group 1 in France, but he actually had one in Germany, didn't he, as well? So
yeah, I don't buy that ground argument at all. I think he's fairly versatile.
I just think that was it was like muddy, like you are stuck in it on the first day. And I just think he definitely would have come on for the run. But it was good to see him back anyway. I think the danger is Westover. So yeah, we could have the full.
It looks like we all kind of agree then. Westover Hurricane Lane is going to be quite tough to beat them. The Oaks then, the first classic of the weekend. We'll go into that. 3 horses who are very big talking horses going into an Oaks. Save the Last Dance 5 to 4. Soul Sister 11 to 4. Running Line 13 to 2. You got Eternal Hope in there, who's been supplemented 14s. Warm Heart 14s. And there was talk they weren't going to go for this race with this horse. They were going to save it something like the Ribblesdale. That's what I heard from Paul Smith, I believe, after Newbury. So we'll see how that goes. And bigger price about the rest. 33 to 1 that Boogie Woogie and bigger there. I'll go Lee first of all. First word on the Oaks. What do you fancy?
All over Save the Last Dance. I think she's got the. I'm not saying the strongest form, but obviously she's bolted up by 22 length in a trail that was over 1 mile 3.5 around Chester. Obviously, running around Chester, and especially at that distance, it stands you in good stead coming to Epsom over the trip. The other 2, so Soul Sister won the Musadora, but that was over 1 mile 2, and Running Lion won the Pretty Polly over the same trip as well. They've got to then step up and trip, and I think they've got to bridge the gap a bit to get to Save the Last Dance. Soul Sister wandered on the track, bombed out the first day. I think it was at Newbury, but then obviously come on for the run at the Musadora. But I just thought that race wasn't up to scratch, and her wandering about the track, I wouldn't put us in confident going to Epsom. So yeah, Running Lion won really well the last day, but beat Sumo Sam, who was beaten a long way, odds on 2-5. I think was Cook the other day, beaten a long way, and that was second to Running Lion. So the form hasn't held up, and I just think Save the Last Dance. I think she's a good thing. I do like one you're going to mention, but I'll let you mention it. But Boogie Woogie, just because it's got form behind Save the Last Dance, and the fact that they're taking the chance, I think she could run on into a place. But nap of the week, I'm going to go straight in, Save the Last Dance.
Big claims there for the Oaks. Harry, I know you agree on this, so you're with Save the Last Dance as well?
Yeah, there's horses when they just run and you just go, wow. And Save the Last Dance, when she won last time out, I mean, there was one that was pulled up, Sisyphus Strength, I want to say. Winter Crack, who finished 7th and last, was 48 lengths behind Save the Last Dance, who didn't even come out of a common canter, pretty much. It was scary. It's scarily good how good it was. And people were knocking the performance. How can you knock a horse who's won by 22 lengths on ground that was arguably a testing ground around the Rudy that day? I can't have Soul Sister. I really can't. I know obviously she put the bad run at Newbury behind her and came out and, well, she pissed in at York, didn't she, the last day? But I just think Save the Last Dance is a machine. Like, I seriously think this is a proper horse.
Can I just say,
Ryan Moore's comments after the race, they were the telling ones. Matt Chapman asked him, "Is this one of the best fields you've had on a potential Oaks horse?" And Ryan basically said, "Yeah, this is up there." And for me, that's good enough. You know how Ryan Moore's like at the minute. Everything he touches is just on fire. Running Lion was a tip of mine at Newmarket last time out. She bolted him, but the form lines, as Lee's already mentioned, are a little bit of a worry. So all over Save the Last Dance.
I was just going to mention, so, you know, if a horse wins by, say, she had won by 5 lengths the last day, you could then say what's in behind, but she's won by 22 lengths, so it's not like she's just beat them, you know what I mean? I feel like people are easy to grab, but 22 lengths, that's a lot, and she didn't get going until maybe it's halfway around. She was scrubbed along. I kind of like that the further they go, like it's different in hurdles and in chases and stuff like that. But the likes of Big Bucks, he used to get busted a little long and only get going, and they saved plenty for themselves, and he only got going halfway around. You know, like the Paisley Park type. Whereas this girl, I'm not.
Stayers Hurdle, back her now. Stayers Hurdle.
No, I'm not comparing them like that, but I like the ones that only get going halfway around and come home well, and I think she'll come home like a train.
Yeah, I've had to twist my own arm on this, but Save the Last Dance for me, and it's a treble. I just think she's very good. I think she's very good, and I think the comments that she's going to be on better on better ground is completely true. Like Galileo out of an American Oaks winner in Daddy's Little Darling, like that they're completely like Daddy's Little Darling won on fast ground over in America. Scat Daddy is the damn sire. Like, I just love the pedigree. I was purring over it and I was doing my notes about an hour ago. I just thought it's incredible. And I think she's got an absolute belting chance. I thought what was cool for me was the cam wrangle ITV had. It was the 2 cam wrangles they had. They had the one where coming around the bend as you were sort of like, you were with them on ground level. She just absolutely cans away. And then they had the bird's eye, and I thought that was, again, really, really good. Yes, she might not have beaten much, but as Lee said, she's beaten not much by 22 lengths. Like, there's not much more she can do. And I think she's got a great chance. I will give Boogie Woogie a shout of 33s, and I'm tossing up in my head whether I mention it in my best of bets article tomorrow. But like, I think she's got a cracking chance on better ground. Like, and it's quite telling in the fact that when these two were up against each other at Leopardstown in April, Ryan Moore chose this, and it was backed. Like, it was fairly backed into 7-2 now, and they had a Dermot Weld filly as well, who's taken up most of the market evens. That horse has come out and won since, and Ryan Moore chose boogie woogie. So they obviously fancy it a fair decent amount. Like, she then went and won a maiden going away. And I think she's got a bit of a decent chance now. Again, the pedigree's lovely. Dubai, we have a Galileo mare, and the Galileo mare is Seventh Heaven, who won an Irish Oaks, a Yorkshire Oaks, and a Jockey Club Stakes. Like, the pedigree again there is fantastic. You can understand why the Ryan Moore chose this horse, and she must have been showing something better now than say the last dance.
Beaten 3 lengths in a Group 1 last time.
Yeah, but I don't listen, lads. I know it sounds all right beating 3 lengths in a Group 1, but the horse was just not good enough.
That wasn't her ground. I'm convinced it wasn't her ground.
Yeah,
I'm absolutely convinced. Like,
she won on softer heavy at Nate.
Yeah, but she didn't win that doing like handstands or cartwheels kind of thing. Like, she went over for that Group 1. They obviously fancied her. And if you look at it, like, the furlong pole, who was on it that day? Was it Ryan Moore was on it that day?
Ryan was on, yeah.
Like, furlong pole, he knows he's not winning. It's a very much we finished 6th kind of thing. Like, I don't think she's like, I know it's just happened to the fact that she's gone on that sort of fairly soft ground throughout her whole career. But the one time that she did go on fairly decent ground, she was behind that Sounds of Heaven, who's won for Jessica Harrington since, beating Queen for You at York. So the form has worked out, fairly decently there. I think there's lines of form which are really, really interesting in here.
Some of these haven't even ran in a Group 1, never mind. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah.
To get 3 lengths, even though it wasn't good enough, to get 3 lengths, she still had to be, somewhat.
Yeah. I'm convinced she's showing something at home, and she's just maybe not putting it on the track. I think a return upwards to 1 mile 4, which should be suited on the pedigree, better ground. I think you could see a good improvement here. I did say that about what was the Eternal Silence in the Irish Guineas, and that went horrendously well for me. So anyway, so that's our fancies then for the Oaks. As I quickly load onto my screen then for the Diomed Stakes, which we are going to be covering next. The first race on the Saturday, 12:50. Obviously, the 1:30 Derby, so it's the first race of the day. Mile and half a furlong. Highland Avenue 7-4 top in the market. Almabeer 9-2. Reach the Moon 5-1. Gentlemen, we've spent plenty of time on the first 3 races. Lee, go to you first. What do you fancy in the Diomed?
I like Highland Avenue. We did mention the form of Charlie, but I think it's the best horse in the race. He was third to Adior and Animat, who's come out and won a Group 1 in France on Sunday. And it was a strong Group 1 as well, I thought. Only just beaten in that Gordon Richards, the 1 mile 2. And I think, Highland Avenue is a worthy favourite.
Yeah, worthy for me as well. The form, just have to reel off the 3 horses of Adiar, Anmat, and Dubai Honor is the form lines there. So 7-4, I think that's a fair enough price. Harry, you don't have one for this, I'm correct in saying, unless you want to chime in or anything.
I'd have backed Pablo, but he just is. You won't let me back him, so.
Escobar is what he's on about there. You had me like, I was like, Pablo, is that a new jockey that's come into the UK, is it? No, so yeah, it's agreement there. Highland Avenue 7-4. We'll then go on to the big race of the weekend, the 1:30 Derby. Plenty of horses to talk about, and the money horse is August Rodin, 3-1. Many people catching on to the idea that he's coming back if Little Big Bears come back. So 3-1 for him. Military Order 9-2. Been drifting a little bit for Adiar's brother there, William Buick, Charlie Appleby. Passenger, the supplemented horse, 5-1. Arrest 13-2. Spreewell 11s. The Dante winner, the Foxes 12s. Bigger prices the rest. Harry, first word on the Derby. I know what you're going to say. I'm not going to like it. What do you fancy?
Well, if you're a keen goer of the Only Fools and Horses podcast, you'd have known I backed the By Mile at 33-1 a few weeks ago when I mentioned him before the Guineas. It was a perfect prep. I know. Here we go. Yeah,
I wish my editing was good enough to have a hammer there, but that was a hammer there.
Yeah, we need a hammer for a regular.
Get a prop.
Yeah, well, listen, I'm not going to put the horse up now at 14 when it's halved in price. So
why not? If you think it'll win, put it up.
No, because I'll tell you the winner, and he's the favourite. August Rodin will win the Derby for Aidan. I know people crabbing him saying he's not Little Big Bear. Little Big Bear had excuses. I think August Rodin, if you watch it back, it was too bad to be true. This horse was never going. Got bumped early on and just was never going. But what this horse showed last season, I cannot get away from that. This horse looked like an absolute rocket. Now, what price was? I'd like to know what price. the shortest price this horse was before the Guineas for the Derby?
I think it was this price. It was about this price,
Yeah, it was.
ish.
Yeah, because
so
they had,
which
they
was,
had
by the
talked about
way,
it so much.
an absolutely horrendous price. I saw Paddy Power, something like that. I'm not, no, I might not have been Paddy Power, so don't go and blame them. I saw a bookmaker price up the Triple Crown, something like 12 to 1. That was that's absolutely horrendous.
No, it is. But then you think this horse was sent off 13 to 8 for the Guineas, was beaten 22 lengths. So listen, when you look at it, it's not.
He was close then, in fairness.
When you look at it, it's not that good. But he just looks a star. He just looks a star. Military Order. I think that horse wants 4 miles. And
come off it now.
No. I'm only a little bit of an. Well, it is.
What you think that he wants further than the Derby trip already?
He looks like it. Personally, I'm not saying he needs it, but the way he went through the race at Lingfield, he was only getting going at the line. Simple as. He was only getting going, and August Rodin, I think he has that bit of class. He'll stay. I'm pretty sure Aidan's confident he'll stay. Passenger now got a. It was a troublesome ride, wasn't it? In the Dante. And we mentioned another horse. So for me, it's August Rodin, but I want to mention one more, and it's White Birch. Now, I think this horse, we mentioned off camera, if this horse wasn't trained by John Murphy, you would not see 14 to 1 that's available right now. But in the words of Mr. Simmons, prior to this race, he's not trained by anyone other. He's trained by John Murphy, and this is true. This is true. So for me, August Rodin.
What price would you have him then, Harry? If he's trained by, let's not say Aidan, because that's cheating a little bit. Say he's trained by Andrew Boulding or the Gosdens. What would you have him?
I want
considering the winner of the race.
He's being by the Foxes, he's 12.
Considering the winner of the race, the Foxes 12s.
I understand that, but I'm going back to the up and under form at Leopardstown. I'd have him a 9-10 shot.
Yeah, I don't hate that too much. You made a lovely case there for August Rodin. I have actually just heard tons of stuff about this horse, and I'm not the first one to say it's insider information here, but there's plenty of people that sort of I'm talking to, and they're just saying that they're just hearing this horse is working the house down at home, and yes, he may be working the house down, and yes, he's been backed, but you have to just you have to sometimes trust yourself, and I'm going to be taking on August Rodin. Lee, what do you fancy in the Derby?
Yeah, Dubai Mail I like. I think it's a solid each way price at 14 to 1. Harry likes him a while back, but he beat Arrest over in France in the Group 1. That was over 1 mile 2 on heavy ground, was headed and battled on well to beat Arrest. Arrest has got a solid chance, won the trail, so that's good form. Was only beaten 5 lengths in the Guineas. There's plenty have come out of that Guineas and showed the form up well. High Royal, Galeron, and Sharon is all ran in the Irish Guineas, and they were only beaten 2 lengths, 3 lengths, 2.5 and 3 lengths for 3rd, 4th, and 5th. I think they were in the Irish Guineas behind Paddington, so the form wasn't too bad. Noble Style was behind Dubai Mail. That one come out and ran 3rd in a listed race behind Shaquille. That one's going to the Jersey, so stepping up in trip, but still showed the form up well, and was actually 2nd to the Dante winner, the Foxes, only beaten a half a length in the Group 2 Royal Lodge. So again, plenty of solid form. Arrest, the Dante winner, the Foxes, who was obviously in this race and also beat the likes of Passenger and stuff like that, and only beaten half a length by that one. Already beaten Arrest, ran in the Guineas, and that was over the Mail. The step up and triple suit Dubai Mail, I think, is a cracking each way price at 14s. I would give a shout to Spreewell for Jesse Harrington. I think the price is maybe on the skinny side. I would like maybe it's about 16s or so. I think it's into 9s now, but I think people are kind of talking about the horse, and maybe that's what brought the price in. But that one won the Derby Trail by 3 lengths over 1 mile 2. I think the step up and trip again will suit that one. So I think Spreewell will go well, but I just think Dubai Mail is the one for me.
Yeah, you've made a nice case there for Dubai Mile, and I'm going to go on a similar form line. I'm going to give a 3 for me, but there is one horse that I really, really like. Is my number 1. I'm going White Hero as my main horse, and wow. I don't know, and I should really like Military Order, and I think he's going to be if White Hero is there, Military Order will be close. But I think this has got a cracking chance. And like, if you look at the pedigree, this hasn't been made aware to me unless someone has touched upon it at some point. But I didn't know this until I was going through the form. He's a half brother to a horse called Waikuku, who was the horse that infamously beat Golden 60 at Chartin in January 2022 when Golden 60 was 1 to 100 to win. And that horse won and was rated something like 124 on RPRs, officially rated 124 as well. Hasn't won since, but was third to Wellington in a Jubilee Cup, finished third to Golden 60 again in November 2022. So it seems to be a fairly decent relation there for this horse, Waipiro. I thought his win at Newmarket was very good. And he looks like he's like a speedier type Derby horse. Like, he's not one that's going to stay for years. I don't actually hate that. If it's a decent ground Derby, I don't hate that. He could just bowl along down the hill, get nicely going, and try and stick on. I think he's got a great chance. I thought that run behind Military Order was great. And like the way the race shaped up for Military Order, the horse that came off the inside, I can't remember who it was now, but when that gap just opened up for Military Order, beautiful run from Military Order. That horse actually sort of pushed out Waipiro a little bit. But Waipiro did really well to get back around it, down that straight, get alongside, eyeball Military Order. And he hasn't really sort of like, the kitchen sink hasn't been chucked at Waipiro, whereas William Buick's, he's riding his fee there. And I think he's got a great chance. I had to go and check some quotes I've got from trainer Ed Walker from a press release from the Jockey Club, just having a look what he fancies about this horse. And I think he's quietly confident of a nice run. He didn't put anyone off an each way chance, but Connection's always going to say that. I think he's got a great chance. And I'm going to be with Waipiro.
Was he always in the race? He wasn't supplemented. He was just always in.
I think he was always in the race. I think
which is a good sign, I would have said. To then go there and then be confident. I think that's a good sign.
I think there's plenty of improvement to go. He's only had the 3 runs, and they knew he was going to come on from that Kempton run on debut. I'm only saying it in the fact that I don't really have a strong one for this year's Derby, unfortunately. Obviously, Arrest I put up at the bigger prices. I wouldn't be taking the price now, unfortunately. I think he's got but look, no, he's got a half decent chance. I think he's a bit more of an arc type personally than a Derby type. I said that on a couple of occasions. I think he's a bit more arc type horse. And in the free, even I'm going to put up the Foxes. I cannot ditch him. I think he's done absolutely nothing wrong. He's a full sister to Periton, who's won over 1 mile 4+. Tactic won the 1 mile 6 Curragh Cup and won a maiden over 1 mile 4. Matterhorn stayed 1 mile 2, but was by Ravens Pass, who's a bit more of a miler. This last by Churchill, who gets sort of that 1 mile 2 kind of thing, a bit more of a stamina sire, but not fully. I think he's done absolutely nothing wrong. I thought his run the last day was really, really good. He's bred to be brilliant. They've reserved this name for a very, very good horse. And Andrew Balding has said this is his best chance going to the Derby he's ever had. And he had Huyamal finish second last year. So
do you think he won that Dante on, like, he was the best in the Dante, like against the second and passenger and stuff like that? Was he best in the day, or did he just have the best ride on the day?
I think he had the best ride on the day because he got into a bit of trouble in the middle of the pack, same trouble the Passenger did. But I think Oisin took the initiative to find the gap and go for it. Yes. But again, I looked at it at the line. Passenger isn't closing. Passenger really isn't closing on the line. Like he gains that distance at the half furlong pole, but they stay that like good length, 2 lengths between each other. But
he didn't get the run. That's why he couldn't maybe make up the ground, though.
I don't know. I think there's more in the pedigree to suggest that the Fox is going to be better anyway. And the one I'd be worried about from that race is White Birch. I thought he had an absolutely cracking route through, and I think he's just a very solid horse. But I am going to be taking him on. And there's my 3. But the main.
Can we do a 1, 2, 3?
Sure, I'll give it there. Waipiro. Who was the other one? I've forgotten already. The Foxes. No, Arrest and then the Foxes. Harry, do you have a 1, 2, 3?
August Rodin, Dubai Mile, and
Whitefish.
No, I'll go Arrest. I think I'll go Arrest a third.
You've mentioned White Birch and you've put up Dubai Mile.
I have, but then no, I did mention this horse would be a different price if it was by another trainer. And that's why I think. And
fair enough. I respect it. Lee?
Dubai Mile to win. I think Arrest will be second. And I'm going to give a shout out to Dawn. I give her a shout out a few weeks back because Chattel is the back. Arrest, it's 66-1 for the Derby. And I didn't listen, but you did say 66-1 a while back. But you did say, actually, last night I was talking to Dawn from the Racing Social, and she said to take the 20-1 about the Arc. She thinks that's a good price about the Arc. So she did think she hopes he'll win on Saturday, but she did say 20-1 about the Arc is a good price. But yeah, Dubai Mail, Arrest, and then Spraywell third.
Lovely stuff. That's great to hear about the art comments as well. I've already had a touch on, so I might go and have a little bit more.
Our uncle actually bred Arrest. That's why. So she's got good connections with Arrest. But the uncle bred it, and she hopes for a good one.
Lovely stuff. We'll then go into the penultimate race, gentlemen, that we're going to be covering, the Princess Elizabeth Stakes. Topping the market is Prosperous Voyage 2-1, Potapova 9-2, Roman Mist 7s, Astral Boat 8s, Heredia the same price. Bigger about the rest. Harry, going to go to you again first of all because you have your nap of the weekend going in this race. So what do you fancy?
Yeah, I was torn between Save the Last Dance and
Don't back down now. Don't back down now.
No,
this was the nap of the weekend.
Yeah, I will stick by it. I really fancy Potapova in this. I think you can go away from Prosperous Voyage.
He's made you do this as the nap. You said it was the nap of Saturday. I did say he's forcing you into it, Harry. Don't let him force you into it.
Well, listen, you can have Save the Last Dance. You can throw Potapova into the double as well. That'll be enough.
How did you last double, Harry?
No, don't.
Was it the Bay Bridge? What was the other one as well that was going to win?
Tahira did win.
Tahira
did win. So
the 1-2 one.
Honestly, the despise I have for you two at times is unbearable.
You said you loved me last week when you were in Marbella.
Man. No. But listen, Potapova was pulled up last time. Doesn't look good. This horse had an irregular heartbeat, and this horse wouldn't be entered in this race if Sir Michael Stark didn't think she was back to her best. And I'm back to her best. I think if you go back, on a penultimate start, she was only 2 lengths behind Mutasabek, which I think is good form because Mutasabek obviously absolutely bolted up at the next time out at Newmarket. Then went to Newbury and was fifth, beaten 3 lengths in that Group 1, obviously won by Modern Games, who fairly bolted in, really. And obviously My Prospero was in 4th. That's it. I think the Lockinge might turn out to be a really strong piece of form this year. And I think if Potapova is anywhere near her best, I think she'll be bang at it. Prosperous Voyage, I'm not convinced she stays that 1.5-mile trip. And listen, Potapova will stay. She was second in the race last year, doing her best work at the end. Lee, you back to that day. And
I think she fell out and she was last at one point.
She was. Well, I think the blindfold came off a little bit late, if I remember right. And listen, if she gets away well, Potapova, take the 9-2. Take the 9-2 because
struggles to get away well though.
Yeah, but I backed her. She's 9-2 now on William Hill, and she's 2-1 elsewhere. So let's say it's a little bit of a difference.
Really?
And she is. She's 9-2. She's 9-2 on William Hill, and she's 2-1 on Paddy Power and Sky Bet. So there's a little bit of a differential.
William Hill traders are having a serious opinion on her, aren't they?
Yeah,
probably the same opinion I have of her as well, to be honest.
Well, listen, you never like when I have my opinions, and I really hope you tip up something that is dead stone last, and Potapova and Ryan Moore comes there swinging. So go on, fire away, Simmons, fire away, mate, because I'm waiting.
I will fire away, and I will have the backing of Lee on this, I believe.
Yes.
Queen Aminatu for me. 10-1. I do like this horse. If it goes, it has got an entry at Royal Ascot. Could do both, I suppose. But you'd hope it comes here. Dropped up is Tom Marquand. I thought that horse she ran a full of promise. Oh, and there's second voice break there. Come and make it a hat trick by the end of the video. Full of promise last time out when behind an informed Sacred. And an informed Sacred is a very, very good horse. So I think that form is worth its weight in gold in this quality. She won over a mile doing the sort of like she came on the outside the last day. She came on the outside to their best work late. She did the same when she won over a mile at Lingfield. She came around the outside on the all-weather and absolutely thundered home. She looks like the mile suits. Now, it was interesting. I went through the pedigree, and there's nothing in the pedigree that suggests stamina-wise a mile should suit. And I always like to sort of like go have the backing of pedigree behind what I see with my eyes, but sometimes I just have to believe my eyes a bit stronger than the pedigree. I think she looks like she wants a mile all over. And Queen Aminatu, 10-1. Cannot believe the price on her. She's got an absolute belting chance, in my opinion. Potentially, if she goes nap of the weekend, really. I think she's got a belting chance. I'll give a small shout to Muk Ad Amma. It's the
Right again.
Macadama.
Mukadama. There you go. The Shadwell horse, Roger Berry and Jim Crowley. If you forgive the last 3 runs, I mean, she's run fairly decently behind Creative Flair 2 starts ago, but if you forgive the last 3 runs,
Ash, just on Macadama, go back to the 27th of April and.
You're already on my wavelength here, Sunshine. In the fact that she was 4th in the Ribblesdale at Royal Ascot, 3rd to Nashua at Newbury, and then, like you said, 27th of April was 2nd to Grand Dam.
Wait, if you go on the Grand, if you've got time, go on the Grand Dam form lines and just go to 20th of August.
There's going to be somewhere saying that she's lost to Potapova, isn't it? Oh, there you go. What a shame that is. But yeah, no, I think she's got plenty of scope to improve here, and the better ground will be fine. And I think 16-1 is interesting. But yeah, Queen Aminati for me, Lee. It's the same for you, isn't it?
Yeah, no. Also, that Shadow
this could be really bad. This could be really bad.
I hope
look, she's ranked outside, and she would have a chance if bouncing back for sure. I did look at that one. But Queen Aminatu stayed on really well, was drawn out wide, come around the houses, like you see at Lingfield, and stayed on best and stayed on really well. I would also give a shout to a horse that Queen Aminatu's already beaten, Roman Mist as well. I'll probably take them 2 against the field. Beat Zelly the last day. Zelly's got really strong form lines in I think the French Guineas and stuff like that. But yeah, stayed on really well. It was on tacky ground, I would have said, Roman Mist, but I think there's plenty of ifs about which horse will get the trip in this race. There's plenty of form lines and there's plenty of solid horses, but it's just who gets the trip well. I think there's plenty of ifs about. So I'd rather take 2 against the field who I think will stay on well. And Queen Aminatu, the problem is with Queen Aminatu, she's resorting
back to the turf. I think is what you're trying to say.
Turf, yes.
There you go.
Yeah, she won really well at Newcastle and obviously stayed on best at Lingfield the last day. But then in between, she had bombed out on the turf. That would be an issue, I would have said. Yeah. But I'll take 2 against the field. Queen Aminatu and Roman Mist.
Am I right in saying that Zelly, I believe you napped up? And
yeah, we both did. We both did.
Yeah, I thought that was. Yeah. I thought you did.
A little bit of Bella Raid. I'm not going to have a dig, but a little bit of Bella Raid she might have won.
Well, if buts and maybes. We'll go on to the final race, and the race that I've been waiting for this whole year is the Epsom Dash. I'm looking forward to this one. I could look forward to it a bit more if there is a runner for Big TC, but Clarendon House 7-1 top in the market, Nymphadora 8s, Ancient Time 14s, Angel Land 14s, Lihu 14s, Live in the Moment 14s. They're all 14s. I can't keep naming horses that are 14-1. Lee 14s bar. Lee, what do you fancy in the Dash?
Look, stick a pin in it at this time. I haven't got a strong opinion. I need to delve into it. I'll put a selection up at the weekend on the live 10:30 on Saturday. That
was right. I was meant to go with me first of all there, but I am going to go with me first of all, or second of all after this on this one. I'll give the lowdown on Recon Mission. Look, he needs two horses to come out to get in for Tony Carroll. He ran in this race 2019 and 2021. 2021 is the one to analyse. He was going really, really well. And when he went to go make his final burst through the pack, he got bumped by the winner, Mockatil, for Ian Williams, which, like Ray Dawson, who was claiming 3 at the time, had to pull back a couple of strides and then go again. Finished 6th. I reckon if he didn't get the bump, he could have easily made it into 4th, I reckon. So it's a big shame that day. Ran off a mark of 87 in 2021. Ooh, there's the hat trick.
There's 3.
There's the hat trick, ladies and gentlemen. There's the 101's landed. Ran off a mark of 87 that day with Ray's claim it was 84. Look, he's a good horse, and Tony's been saying that he's been best form of his life, even though he was 100 rated at one stage. This is the best form that he's coming back to, and he's off a mark of 80. If he gets in, God, I hope he gets out. I'll be doing my midnight prayers every single day.
Who will raid? Do you know who will raid?
I wouldn't know. I need to go through who's dropped up already. Maybe if Luke's available, it'll be the usual suspects. Tom Marquand's already dropped up, so it wouldn't be him. Usual suspects probably be Luke Morris, maybe even Molly might get a run. Molly Phillips, £3 claimer. But I say if Luke's not there, if Luke is at Epsom, which I don't know if he is, and he's not dropped up, he'd probably be first in line to get it. But yeah, Recon Mission is the horse I hope gets in. Because if he does, he's a runner. I really think he's got a good chance.
And you're a runner at Epsom if he gets it.
We hope. We don't know. I'm not confirmed, but it's all if buts and maybes, all hypotheticals at the moment. I won't be complaining either way. As long as he gets a run, I don't care where I'm watching it from, to be honest. Clarendon House is the main one for me. I backed it the last day at York. Seasonal reappearance off a mark of 102. Ran to an RPR of 100. Absolutely travelled into the race. And then didn't really find much. Was given 3 reminders of the whip by Daniel Muscat, but again, wasn't really asking for too much. The handicappers, he's doing a charity work for this horse. Dropped him £2. I absolutely cannot believe he's been dropped £2, finishing 5th, 3 lengths behind on his seasonal reappearance. That's absolutely incredible. I had an in-depth fancy of him for York, the Dante meeting, and that form with Rarsell and Cardham works out very well. 7-1's a fair enough price now, and I'm with the favourite at this stage. Harry, you have one for this as well?
Yeah, he's not probably as well handicapped as the favourite Clarendon House, but I do think Nymphadora will run on merit for Oisin Murphy and Andrew Baldwin. It's good. Listen, 4-year-old on the imprint. It's a really good run actually last time at Chester on the Rudy. Beat Kings Lynn, who was well fancied, and just held them off. Kind of missed the start and just kind of made his move down as they come down the bend, don't they? They turn the bend and then they come up. But I thought it was a good run. Lee Who's in there is a good course and distance winner for David Evans, comfortably beaten. Now, this horse has been running against the horse in the hundreds. And I just think who's top weight in here? I think it's Silky Wilkie, if I'm right.
It is, yes.
So getting weight off, I think I'm getting weight off a couple of horses. I think Nymphadora could run well at a big price. Well, not big price, 8-1. It's a decent price. But as Lee mentioned, this is literally throw your pen up on the newspaper and whatever it lands on, you've probably got half a chance.
You probably have. It's a great race. I absolutely love the Dash, and I'll be looking forward to it. Fingers crossed. Tony will get a runner. I would like to say though, as a horse that definitely won't get a run. If I've ever seen a horse that needs Epsom as much, it's a horse called Resilience. Shock horror, an ex-Tony Carroll horse. Went to Craig Linster because it was bought by Nick Bradley. The sales for 45 grand or something like that. I don't have the number specifically to hand. This horse was entered for the Dash and was going to go last year, but they get a £7 allowance as a 3-year-old in the Dash, and that knocked him out all the way to be the second balloted out, and Recon was actually the first. So he's a horse that's so quick, and if by any miracle hand of God that 6 horses don't decide to go and he gets a run, he's a real player. But if it's a shame this 3-year-old handicap, this 3-year-old Dash handicap, which has just come in this year, it's a shame it wasn't here last year, because if it had been there last year, I reckon you had a good run. If buts and maybes, we only did an absolutes, but Resilience is a horse. He's a very nice horse. And
Ash at the minute, Resilience is down to carry 7-12.
Yeah, he won't get a run, unfortunately.
So who is going to be taking 7 stone on their back?
Probably my left leg. Will you be riding that horse? Lovely stuff. We'll then go naps and anything else. Gentlemen, I'll go Harry. He's been chirpy today. What's your nap?
Listen, I Save the Last Dance will win. Potapova if you want a price. 9-2. So.
What are you taking as your nap?
See, if we're doing a group one, I think we're all going to say Save the Last Dance.
No, we don't have to do a group. What you taking?
I'll go Potapova then. I think Potapova will win. I think she was second last year. She'll win it this year.
You can choose what you like, Harry. Don't feel forced into it by me. If you want to Save the Last Dance, Save the Last Dance. You nap up Queen Amanatu and see how that ends up for you. There you go. He's already said it for me. Queen Amanatu nap. Lee, what's your nap?
I've got a one on Friday in the 3:45 at Epsom. I do like Tasizu for the Nick Bradley racing. I followed it a few times. He's just not got the run of the races, I would have said. Third and fourth in 2 handicaps at Newmarket. And then the last day was last at York, like after coming out the stores. Ended up finishing 8th, stayed on, just didn't get the rub of the green again. And I'd still think it's off a good mark. It's off a mark of 90, carries 8 stone 10, is 25 to 1. So it's 345 at Epsom on Friday to Shizu at 25s. But my nap is Save the Last Dance in the Oaks on Friday.
I'll mention one, Silver Sword in the 355, the handicap on Saturday. I liked it for the London Gold Cup. Didn't go. Should get a run now. Just needs one to come out. That military order form from 3 starts ago works out very well. In that same race, was a neck behind Lose Your Wad. That horse reopposes in the same race as Silver Sword this weekend. If you want to know why it's so well handicapped, there's a £9 difference swing in the weights between the 2 horses, in the fact that Lose Your Wad's giving £9 away to Silver Sword, and there's only a neck between them. So I think very well handicapped. And if military order goes and obliges in the Derby, then this horse.
And also,
there's a funny story about that horse, actually.
I was going to say quickly on Silver Sword. I did get told that this was the target, and also it handled Lingfield as well, which would stand it in or
It would.
So the military order form handles, like a similar track, and I can see that running well for Dylan Cunha.
What's the funny story, Harry? You were going to say funny story?
There is actually someone that we know that if this horse
wins, I did, Dawn might have a slight hand on the ring.
Oh yeah, you did say that. Yeah, you did say.
Dawn says that seen Dylan at the sales, and she asked if she could leave the horse in. So if it wins, she might be leaving it in. But she's going to obviously see a rest with her uncle. So she'll be there in Epsom. So go and say hi to Dawn. She'll be the one in all the colours under the sun.
And if I happen to be there, this is like the most hypothetical of hypotheticals. If I happen to see there, come and say hi. I'll probably be in tears after Recon Mission finishes.
You and Dawn have got to get a snap together.
Yeah, we'll see. Lovely stuff. That's all we've got time for on the Epsom preview. If you did enjoy, please do like and subscribe. Follow us all on Twitter. Our Twitter handles are there. Go drop us a follow. It's a great place to be. And we'll be back next week to preview. Don't even know what it is next week. My eyes are firmly on Derby. Who cares? But we'll be back at 10:30.
Half won the Derby, half won
the Derby. Remember it there. We'll be back 10:30 a.m. on Saturday. See the Saturday live from wherever we are. I'm sure we'll find a way. If you enjoyed, please do like, subscribe. If you're having a bet, please do gamble responsibly.